Hi everybody, this is Jeff at The Glorious Uncertainty, and I am in that there Yorkshire, or as we say in Lancashire, Uwak Forumware. In Yorkshire, it's a beautiful day and I've come to see my daughter. Right, I'm just going to give you an update that I'm getting better now. I'm getting better. I've got all the medication, beta blockers, statins, you name it, they're all there. But yeah, I am feeling better, but far from 100%, but I feel as though I could get back pretty soon, so that's good. Good news, I look forward to that. I really do look forward to that. Now the other thing, while I'm doing a bit of amusing in that there Yorkshire, there is Yorkshire, there, and there, that is Yorkshire. What happens when you take time out and you can't work? You become sucked into the whole what's going on in the world. I know quite a bit about American politics now, so there, I know what's going on. Well, I think I know what's going on. I'll tell you one thing that's very dangerous: algorithms. I say this to my brother. Algorithms are very, very dangerous, because what they do is they just feed you one side of the story, because you tend to look at a certain whether it's left or right in politics, you tend to look at certain things. So the algorithms feed you a certain narrative, which is quite worrying. But you've got to open your mind to recognize that, because you start to begin to believe that yours is the truth, because you keep seeing it on your news feed, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is. You're being manipulated, really, which isn't very good, is it? It's not good. But there's one thing, and I've done a lot of research about this. I'm only sharing this because it's just amusing. You know me, I do my musings. And one thing that I don't quite understand, and they may infuriate you, and it's the people just stop oil, right, with the little marching around. They always seem to be older people who probably carry a guilty conscience for burning oil when they were younger and using up resources, etc., etc. But it always begs the question, when these people are doing these protests in London, why the police never intervene? Why do they not intervene? Now, I'm old enough to remember Margaret Thatcher, and I actually thought Margaret Thatcher was a good leader, a strong leader. Whether you agreed with her or not, she was strong. She was strong. And I always remember the miners' strike and the plight of the miners as globalization started taking hold, and we'd get coal from China, and we'd get steel from Russia and China. It ruined the steel industry, globalization, and it also ruined the miners' communities. But the one thing I always remember, was how Margaret Thatcher manipulated the police force. She got her own private army and she used the police force. And the other thing as well was when the printers union tried to intervene, when they moved the printers, I think it was from Fleet Street, Wapping, or I can't remember to where. I've not googled it. But I also remember that she used the police force again. And that was it didn't become apparent to me because I was a kid. But now when I look back, I can see the manipulation there of how a standing Prime Minister used the police force to get what she wanted manipulated. And that was wrong. So if we fast forward and we look at what's going on with Just Stop Oil and the older people, there's a few younger ones, but the majority appear to me to be older people. Now, their protests never seem to be intervened by the police. When I've looked into this, they are actually breaking the law in stopping people going about their business. It's a highways law. And they should be arrested, but they're not. So it begs the question, why are they not? Why are Just Stop Oil allowed to continue with this? Whether you agree with them or not, that's an irrelevance, really, because they should be arrested. But why are they not? Now, I have lived most of my life in the countryside, out working, feeling the seasons, year in, year out, laying stone, building this, building that, salmon fishing, carp fishing, you name it, I've been outside. Rivers in France, carp fishing in France. I've been all over, so I feel the weather and I feel the seasons. Now, climate change. Do you believe it? Or do you think the reason why it's a bit warmer at the moment, I don't think it's because we burnt some plastic bags or the Industrial Revolution. I don't think it was that. I think that big orange thing in the sky called the sun is just burning a bit hotter at the moment. That's what happens with the sun. It goes through phases. And anybody can check this. You can all check it. But yeah, while I've been off, away from this, I have been looking at this and I've been sucked into it. I've looked at it quite objectively and seen both sides. But to me, that big thing in the sky in the centre of our solar system is to blame. It's sending off solar flares at the moment, which means more radiating heat gets to Earth. Now, I also remember the hole in the ozone layer. I remember that. And I heard years ago that this was started by a bored journalist who read something about the hole in the ozone layer. And it was a Sun reporter and then did a piece on it. And next minute it all blew up. What I'm saying is the power of the press. If you control the press, you control everything. And now, there seems to me to be a mass controlling. We're all being blamed, my age group, and the Industrial Revolution, obviously, for causing this calamity. But is there a calamity? I was told 15 years ago that sea levels were going to rise so high that we'd be underwater now. Parts of the UK, you know, those islands they used to show in the middle of the Pacific, but they're not. And also, when you read about it, it's amazing how many people who stand for net zero, it's called, isn't it? Buying houses on beach fronts. They don't seem to be bothered about that. The Obamas especially. They don't seem to be bothered about rising sea levels. Not at all. Now, so going back to the original, why did the police not intervene with Just Stop Oil? Well, if you're a government and you're pushing a narrative and big business has got involved, that is You know, we see all these windmills going up everywhere. We don't see many nuclear power stations though being built, which are more efficient. If you look at the output of what a windmill produces and against how much square footage it takes over on the land, and if you have a look at nuclear power beats everything hands down. And people say, well, what about nuclear waste? But technology's gone on massively. It's like battery technology, that's gone on, but we're not going to start talking about batteries, and we're not going to talk about children being used as slaves in far off climes. We're not going to talk about that. So if you're pushing a narrative and somebody's getting rich, some people are getting rich from pushing a narrative, we all need solar panels and we need renewables, why would the police intervene with Just Stop Oil? They wouldn't. They're allowed to. They're allowed to protest because that's exactly what the government wants. They're giving them a voice. Where in China, I think it's 88 coal-powered power plants are built every year. I mean, even if you said that was bull and you said 20, there's a reason for that, isn't there? So yeah, Just Stop Oil, they're given free rein. And then it always appears to me to be angry builders who are dragging them off the streets of London. It's always angry builders that do it. They always have Viz vests on, don't they? The ones that pull the Just Stop Oil people off the streets, and then they're vilified by the Telegraph and the Guardian. They're vilified. Just Stop Oil. There's a reason why that private army that Margaret Thatcher employed in the 80s isn't being used, because the narrative is being furnished by these people. It's being underlined. Anyway, that's what I think. But as for horse racing, I'm going to get back. I'll get back soon, I think. Feeling a lot better. Again, thank you for the messages. But as for Just Stop Oil, think about it. Think about it. They cause all that disruption, and not one police officer exercises the rule of law, in that you cannot on the highways do that. So there must be a reason for it, mustn't there? Leave it with you. Anyway, that's it from me. Speak to you soon. Bye for now. Bye bye.